Skyrim came out on the Nintendo Switch last week, Gareth Evans. November the 17th.
It did, Michael Williams.
And you bought it, didn't you? You're playing it at least.
I bought it and I've played the out of it.
Don't know how you acquired it, but we'll leave it there. Yeah, you bought it. Okay.
I used my money, Mike. How else do you acquire things? I mean, I didn't steal it, if that's what you suggest.
I don't know what that was about. I guess because we're like industry people or something. I don't know. Okay, so Skyrim's out on the Switch. A lot of people have been talking about it. It's been all over Twitter. It seems quite interesting that this, console kind of game from 2011 is coming back now on a hybrid console, and that's got a lot of people talking, as has already happened with Doom and stuff like that. Bethesda making a move on the Switch, and the game's done all right. It's reviewed pretty well. Metacritic score of 84, which is good. I mean, that's not pretty well. That is good. That is a very good score. All the reviews are positive except one, which is mixed, but it's like a high mixed one. So it came out in 2011, but here we are 6 years later and people are playing it and loving the hell out of it. And this version includes the base game and all the DLC, so Dragonborn, Hearthfire and Dawnguard, all those DLC packs are in there. And it's kind of, rather than be an updated version of the original, it's more of a slightly downgraded version of the remaster that came out for PC and PS4 and Xbox One not long ago.
Yeah.
So how is it? I mean, is it any good?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I do believe there's a reason why they keep releasing and re-releasing the Switch on every single console and device known to man. It's because it is a stand-up game. Yes, it's 6 years old or whatever, but there are some elements to this game that very, very few other, if any other game, have done right or have done it justice. I think that this game is special in a lot of ways. All right, this version has bugs. We can go into them in a little bit. Played it through once when it released, maybe 6 years ago on the PC, and ever since then I haven't played it again. Now I'm playing through for the second time now on the Switch 6 years later, and I still remember the missions. I still remember every single thing. I'm like, how do I remember this? It's such a memorable game like that. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. That's it, put it that way.
Well, Skyrim's got its critics, and people say things like, it's so buggy and blocky, and Bethesda games always release like trash, and the combat isn't very good. It's all floaty and silly. But that's not why you play the game. That's not what Skyrim is. And I was watching the IGN review of the Nintendo Switch version, and the reviewer, I can't remember his name, it's a decent review, the reviewer was just saying like, this is one of the greatest, most famous, most important open world RPGs of all time. My gut reaction was, whoa, hang on a minute, mate. But then as I was thinking about it, like, he's right, it's fair to say something like that about Skyrim. It is a big deal, I think, and it's, like I said, it's got its critics, but it's definitely got its appeal as well. So you feel like it holds up, like that transition into a portable kind of gaming experience kind of holds up.
I do believe that there's not many games you could play 6 years later and still have as much fun as I am having playing through Skyrim right now. Don't think that is maybe 3 or 4 years ago you might be able to pick up a game and still think, this holds up today. Skyrim, it absolutely does.
And what's important about that is not out of nostalgia. Like, we get remasters all the time, but you're not playing this and going, I remember this, but isn't it so fun? You're just playing it as a game that's just come out and that's you're enjoying and you like it for that reason.
So the one of the biggest reasons why Skyrim, for me, is one of the best RPGs, open world RPGs, or maybe even best games ever made, is the leveling up system, right? You level up and you gain skills and experience in whatever you do. So if it's two-handed attacks, then you gain level in two-handed attacks, and then once you level up, you've got points to be able to spend. You've got a whole tree to be able to unlock abilities in the two-handed attack tree, and that's the same for every other skill or thing that you do, like sneaking, there's pickpocketing, there's so many of them, which leads to replayability, obviously. But it's the fact that you do something, you get rewarded for doing something, then you can level up in what you're doing in order to enhance your experience in so doing. It's just so natural. It's not like a Ghost Recon Wildlands where you just find a random trophy and then you put it in a random slot on your skill tree. That's the worst way to do it. If you want
a terrible example of how not to progress, there's Star Wars Battlefront 2 aside, I suppose. Ghost Recon Wildlands is one of them. So how have you been playing it? Docked mostly, or on the go, undocked? Like, how have you been playing it?
Yeah, I've been playing it handheld for the majority. Right. I tried it docked last night. I found it a bit weird. weird. I don't get as responsive a control experience from the docked.
Well, you're not the only person to say that. I've seen a few reviews that were saying similar kind of things. Just feels a little bit sluggish, maybe. There's a bit of a delay between, melee in particular, when you're trying to do melee combat. It just feels like a bit too slow. But, conversely, when you're doing it handheld, it feels absolutely fine. Do you feel like it's compromised in any way to work on the Switch? Because obviously the Switch isn't as powerful as PC, PS4, Xbox One, but does it feel like that? Does it feel like it's been compromised in any way?
Not in handheld mode, not to the point where is affecting my game playthrough or my enjoyment of that playthrough at all in any way. I think maybe docked mode, it leads a little bit to be desired. Maybe if I had one of these pro controllers that I'm using kind of nunchucks kind of style. So maybe if I had like the upgraded controller, I've tried that in the past, and it's actually more. I'm comfortable, but it's not affected me too much. But like I said, I'm majority playing in handheld mode.
Yeah, all right, well, that's interesting. Well, Digital Foundry did a video on it, and an analysis on it, and they always do a lovely job, Digital Foundry. They said it's a solid 30 FPS, just the same as it is on Xbox One and PS4. So that visually, there's compromises, like you don't get the same kind of lighting effects. Maybe textures are a bit. Lower resolution, you don't get like volumetric effects and stuff, but it's on a smaller screen and it is still running at 30 FPS, so it's kind of it's there or thereabouts for the console experience, so it feels really well. And there's headlines like, I think it's Kotaku or something that's saying it runs much better than it has any right to, which is quite interesting.
It does. I've experienced a few glitches, like in the character creation at the very beginning, it was freezing for maybe a couple of seconds while I was switching between what races I could be. And that was my first impression was like, hang on a minute, can this machine even run this game? Because it's such a huge game. But my fears were allayed, I guess, and it's all running fine. Obviously you see the pop in every now and then. The textures aren't brilliant, but then it's on a handheld screen. It's on these are the sacrifices you make, I guess, in order to be able to play on the go like you do on the Switch.
And so that's quite an important question, I guess. Does it work as a game on the go? Do you feel like are you getting absorbed in this? Can you just fire it up and play it for like 20 minutes at a time while you're waiting for something or whatever? Does it work as a handheld game if you've been playing it mostly on the go?
Yes, definitely. I mean, for me, I usually stick my headphones in, headphones on or earphones in. I'm playing it when I'm traveling or when I'm just chilling out, lying on my bed playing Skyrim. How awesome is that? I just absolutely love the fact that I'm able to get lost and engrossed in this world wherever I am. It's that type of gaming experience that I haven't really appreciated before. They chill out and play games. Like I'm usually playing a PC player. I'm sat up straight at a desk, right? And it's full focus, fully engaged. But I'm so much enjoying this experience now. It's I can get lost wherever I'm making a cup of tea playing Skyrim. It's like it's just great. It's like awesome.
It's a cool sentence to be able to say that. It's pretty nice. So just before we go in, tell us a little bit more about your playthrough. Like how far in are you? What kind of character are you?
Okay, so I'm level 20 now, and I'm playing as a mage, which was weird because I started out playing as a Redguard, which is like the combat guy, right? And I fully intended to play combat two-handed. I started out with bow and arrow, but then I figured because I'm used to playing PC, right? Like it's easier to aim with mouse and keyboard, so I was finding it very difficult, especially with the bow and arrow, and it felt really confined with the joysticks. So I've ended up going mage, and this is the first time that I've ever engaged in like a mage type of skill tree in any game ever. Like I completely discarded it in The Witcher. With my time with that and any other game, I haven't
got
really.
A sword, haven't you? You can cut anything. Off.
You got two swords in The Witcher. I mean, it confuses me the fuck out of me. Like, which sword do I use? But yeah, I'm really enjoying playing the mage, and this kind of taps into the replayability of this game. This is my second playthrough, and I feel like I could play through it again, making other choices and using other. Using other skills and powers and stuff. And now my favourite moment of my playthrough so far, right? I've got this power called the Ritual Stone. So you get this power by going up and activating a stone or something. So you get this power. So what it does, it raises the dead corpses around you and makes them fight for you. So. For those of you who don't, I mean, I've never used this before, but there was this one mission I was on. I was in some caves trying to take on some vampires. They were shooting some ice with javelins at me or whatever, and I couldn't fucking do it. And there was like a pile of dead bodies around me. I was like, hang on a minute, I'm underpowered here. I think I can solve this little problem, and I'm using the skills that I'm like. This is like solving the problems using everything that you've got around you, and this is what's beautiful, because I could have approached this scenario in so many different ways, but I found the solution. I've got this. I can raise the undead, and it was only because I happened across the stones that I've got this power. So I raised the undead, and I had a full army. There was like spiders, and there was like these ghouls, whatever they call. I can't remember what they're called. And a couple of other vampires as well. I had this whole army to take on this one guy, and it was so easy. And I was like, I felt like an absolute genius after it. And
I think it is, like you were saying earlier on, it's a very replayable game, and that's probably one of the main reasons. The play styles are there for you to, mess around with. You can blend. You don't have to just be a thief. You can blend the skills, because, like you said, the skill tree is there. Just use whatever you want, and then that will become better for you. You progress that way. It's very flexible, and you can mess around, and things will turn out differently. Like Jake in the office says that he's always played as a kind of long-ranged archer type guy. He'd always take people out. Who in his second playthrough he realised he could actually talk to them, and they would be NPCs that give you an alternate route through the quest. So it's an immensely replayable game. So kind of last thought, I guess, and it sounds like a very strong recommendation for you at the very least. Yeah,
for sure. I'm enjoying the hell out of it, but I mean you've got to temper that with the fact that this is my second playthrough. If you've played the hell out of this game before, you might not be getting as much enjoyment as I am getting.
Right.
I'm at level 20 currently, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, every waking thought that I'm not working or distracted, I'm thinking about going back to Skyrim.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that I play a game like that, and the fact that it's 6 years old and it still stands up and I'm still enjoying it. Maybe it's alongside my favorite game experience this year so far.
Wow.
I very rarely get engrossed in games these days, but it's happening with Skyrim, and I can't. Like I said, I'm enjoying it now so much that I can't wait to even start a new playthrough and play again in a different way.
Oh, yeah. Skyrim's it's terrible for that. I mean, the amount of playthroughs I've actually started and not got much further than the first village is terrible for that, and also amazing for that. So there you go. That's a big thumbs up from Gareth Evans there for Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch, which you can play while making a cup of tea. How amazing is that? We'll see you next time.